What is up, guys? JE Live. We are back, and it's the post game. The Rams won 27-24. Way too close for comfort, but hey, let's give the Colts some credit. You know, this is a good football team. This is a team I had 10-7. Really should have adjusted my projections, and of course, you know, my score prediction, based on the fact that, look, Quentin Nelson was going to play, Eric Fisher was back, so I should have been better on that. Look, Carson Wentz, he balled out. He played a good game. You know, the Rams really need to finish on those sacks. They need to tighten up. I thought Matthew Stafford looked very, very good. You know, had a bunch of drops. I think when you look at the adjusted completion percentage for him, at the end of the day, you're going to see that this guy played pretty well and, you know, dealt with some drops. On top of that, a really fluky interception here. One of those things where, you know, the ball was tipped and, you know, it gets picked off. The game kind of changed at that point because I really do feel like at one point or another, the Rams had an opportunity to kind of push, you know, go away, so to speak, push away, you know, pull away. And, you know, got to give a lot of credit to Cooper Kupp, who I think has really emerged as the #1 receiver. I love Robert Woods as much as the next person, 5 catches, 64 yards, but he did have a few key drops. I love Van Jefferson, but aside from his 14-yard catch, he had a really crucial drop on 3rd down that hit him right in the chest. But Cooper Kupp could actually lead the entire league in receiving this year. He has an incredible rapport with Matthew Stafford. And to me, I just feel like it's gotten to the point where we need to start talking about Cooper Kupp back-to-back 100-yard games. The first Ram to do that, 100-yard receiving games, first Ram to do that since Isaac Bruce. So keep that in mind. That's not something that's been done. I think it was like 2004 was when it was done. I could be wrong, but it's been a while. You look at the running game, I thought Darrell Henderson, you know, ran well, ran hard. Unfortunately, you know, did suffer that injury. We'll wait to hear on that with the rib injury. But then Sony Michel came in, thought you saw some really good things out of him, ended up finishing with, I believe, 5.9 yards per carry. No, he finished with 4.6, but at one point or another, he 5.9 yards per carry, which was, of course, his average last season. So I think he looked really good. I thought the blocking up front was really good in the run game. I don't think the stats really indicate, you know, how well they ran. They ran for over 100 yards. The Colts ran for over 100 yards. The Rams really held just Jonathan Taylor in check. So I thought, you know, they were good against the run. Carson Wentz had a couple of those scramble plays where, you know, he broke a sack and, you know, he was able to make something happen. Happy to see Marlon Mack out there. You know, he's coming off an injury that Cam Akers is trying to come back from. So I appreciate him doing that. Obviously, you know, it's something, you know, I'm rooting for him the rest of the way. You know, like to see guys coming back from injury, but I got to give credit where credit's due. And obviously Michael Pittman deserves a lot of credit. 8 catches, 123 yards. But let's just talk about this for a sec. I understand this is mainly a Rams-focused channel, but I would be absolutely out of pocket to not mention Eric Fisher's incredible performance coming off a torn Achilles tendon in January. He was back out there and he played very well against Justin Hollins. I'll have to go back and watch the film, but I was very impressed with him. Today, look, you know, not the best game for the Rams, but it's all about winning. You know, the points do not matter at the end of the day. It's just about, you know, wins and losses. The Rams are 2-0, regardless if they won 42-10 or just like they did today, 27-24. They are 2-0. They will be playing Tampa Bay next week in the primetime slot, the 4:25 slot. It's going to be all over. It's going to be must-see TV, and that is when we'll get to see the Rams back at SoFi going up against the defending Super Bowl champions. So this is a huge game for the Rams. Hopefully Henderson will be back. You know, it's definitely a big thing there. You know, you want to see him healthy. A lot of what they do runs through him. Furthermore, you know, you have to hope that you know, Matthew Stafford's thumb ends up okay, because he did bang his thumb. I did notice, you know, right out after that, you know, his passes weren't exactly, you know, on the mark as they normally are. I thought he rallied back and was okay, but and okay as in like he was good, you know, but I wonder, because he's had a surgically repaired thumb. You don't want to hit that thing too many times. It does get bad. So, you know, just shout out to Taylor Rapp, Sebastian Joseph Day, Greg Gaines, and Leonard Floyd. And that was it. Aaron Donald did not get a sack today. Surprising. All those guys, chimed in with sacks. Unfortunate news. I did just read that it was reported by the team that Justin Lawler has broken his hand. And it's really unfortunate. This is somebody that's been through a lot of injuries. So Justin Lawler does have a broken hand. The hope is that, he can come back and he can, still play for this team. He, played a ton of snaps the first 2 games of the season coming off the practice squad. They really like him. But you have to keep in mind now, it's the next man up. And who's next man up? Well, Okoronkwo's on the IR, and as of right now on the COVID IR is Chris Garrett. So you have to keep that in mind. So I think right now the Rams are going to look at, potentially using Michael Hoyt as a, situational pass rusher, as well as using Aaron Donald out there as well. They had him one-on-one against Julian Davenport, who I mentioned would be the right tackle if Eric Fisher did play, and he did. We didn't see Matt Pryor because, well, Julian Davenport didn't have to play left tackle, but Davenport got destroyed, and I was not surprised. I told you guys Floyd would eat his lunch all game long, and if, whoever played right tackle, to be honest with you, and it was bad. I'll go back and I'll watch the film, but, I mean, it was bad. Floyd should have had 5 sacks. He was held the entire game. Not one holding call was made, by the way. Donald was held. Holds happen, right? But it's just a matter of, them, trying to rally back, and, they got down in this game. And, I said something on Twitter that was a little controversial, and some people were questioning why I said it. But when the Rams, the first thought I had when the Rams had that, unlucky snap that cost them on special teams, and the Colts got, a free touchdown, Ashton Doolin take in the end zone, and they took the lead. Do you know what I said? The first thing I said, good. I'm glad. Do you know why? Because the defense was exhausted. This is the problem playing bend, don't break defense. Your defense is constantly on the field. Constantly on the field. And so what that does is, so your offense is barely on the field, so they can't even create this rhythm. And that's what you saw. The Rams needed a reset on the offense. But furthermore, the defense got some, break. Yes, they went down, but here's the thing. I think they won the game, and, obviously they could have won other ways, but I felt pretty good when, they gave up that touchdown, and the Colts went right back out on defense, and the Rams were able to regroup, reset, and go down on 4 or 5 plays to score and, throw that touchdown and take the lead. That was a big, big drive, and that was a response to what happened. Look, you didn't get it done. You're going to punt. There's a bad snap. It's fluky. The Colts get a free touchdown. Respond. And it was honestly a breath of fresh air. It was a blessing in disguise because, like I said, if the defense went back onto the field, Carson Wentz would have carved them up, as tired as they were, on these short passes, right? And they would have run the football down their throat. And do you know what would have happened? Instead of there being 12 minutes for the Rams offense to go down the field and take the lead, there would have been like 6 or 5 or maybe even 4 minutes. So keep that in mind. That moment in the game, it's how you respond. The Rams could have let that destroy them, but I knew they weren't going to. I knew it. I think it really just woke them up. Like, we're down for the first time all season long. I mean, this is the first time that they were down. And they were able to respond. And I just think, the punt mishap, it sucks, right? You hate to see it. You hate to see just giving away points like that. But I will just say this. If that doesn't happen, then who knows if the Rams offense resets? Who knows if the Rams defense is able to stop Wentz? And even if they do, they have the lead. They have taken the lead at that point. So it's like, that's the thing. Would you rather have them just give up the lead now, or have them waste 6-7 minutes off the clock? And that's my thing. So it's weird. I understand it was a little controversial for me to say that right off the rip. People were upset. I get it. But hey, I'm just going to be real with you guys all the time. My thoughts are different. Okay. I'm not going to, just roll with what the announcers are saying. I'm going to be a little different. And I think differently. I think a little bit outside the box. And that was my first take. I was like, The special teams, yeah, in hindsight, right? Like, the special teams play, it made it look close. But I'm telling you guys, I love this defense. I really love this team. I think this team is special. And they had they got tested today against a good team on the road. It was the first road game. But I'll say this. If that special teams mistake did not happen, I don't guarantee the Rams win this game. Because look at how much time the Bears took up on those drives last week. And look at how much time the Colts were able to take up on that first drive. You did not want that. So they would have ate the clock up. The Rams would have had no time to come back. It just wouldn't have been good. So I'm glad. And, I think this needs to be a wake-up call for the Rams defense. I think they're playing way too soft. I don't think that they were as aggressive as they were last week. Because, they were a little soft at the beginning of the game. But then, you started to see them really attack the ball. And I thought, Jalen Ramsey all over the place and deploying him the way they were. But in this game, it was like you're playing 10 yards off of Jack Doyle? Are you serious? Why is your corner or whoever's supposed to cover Jack Doyle 10 yards off him? Why are you giving him a 10-yard cushion? And we could get into, the play calling down the stretch, which Sean McVay already said he hated that he did it. You should always be playing to score the touchdown. It's tied. Yeah, it's great. You took the lead, but you gave a lot of time back. And if your defense, honestly, who knows what happens? Because keep this in mind, Carson Wentz got hurt. So Jacob Eason's first ever NFL snaps, he has to try to win the game. That was a lot of pressure on a young quarterback. And who knows? You could argue the Rams got lucky in that regard. And I hope Wentz is okay. And honestly, I hope the Colts do well this season. They were, a fun team to play against. I respect them a lot. Frank Reich knows what he's doing with Wentz. That's a good offense. They'll get healthy, But look, you can't punish the Rams for being in a close game. Like I said, this is our first look at this season. This is the first Rams game on the road. Now, talking heads in the media will say the Rams, they're going to fall. They're number one right now in most polls, right? Some of them are not, whatever. They'll fall. They'll fall because they'll be like, it was too close. Way too close. And what I would say is, look, I don't care if Tampa Bay goes out there and destroys the Falcons. If you had the Rams at 1, you're going to put Tampa Bay over them because they destroyed the Falcons? If the Chiefs beat the Ravens, okay, all right. But they also played a close game against the Browns. Tampa played a very close game where they were outplayed at home against the Cowboys. It's too early in the year to go off these knee-jerk reactions. So I can tell you guys right now, I'm going to, not going to totally spoil it, but the Bogan 10 will have the Rams at number 1. They didn't lose. They looked good. And then there were times where, they faced adversity and they bounced back and they won. And at no point in this game, unlike games in the past, I saw the Jets' loss coming from a mile away. I saw that. I could not believe it, but I saw it. I knew it was going to happen. Never at any point in this game was I like, the Rams are going to lose this. It was annoying, but I never thought the Rams were going to lose it. And maybe it's, a testament to having Stafford as their quarterback. But, yeah. And furthermore, I don't think the offensive line played bad at all. It's honestly kind of surprising to me. Stafford was sacked, once? For 8 yards? He's still at 101 passer rating, over 101 passer rating. Averaged 9.3 yards per completion. He had a really good game. Seems kind of weird that Johnny Hecker gets credited for the fumble. I don't understand that, but quarterback hits. You know how many quarterback hits the Rams had on Wentz? 11. You had 1 from Rapp, you had 2 from SJD, you had 3 from Donald, you had 3 from Floyd, you had 1 from Reeder, you had 1 from Gaines, 4 pass breakups. He had 1 from Ramsey, 1 from Reeder, 1 from Fuller, 1 from Darius Williams. I would like to see Fuller tighten it up a little bit. I did see him. I wasn't super impressed with him, to be honest with you, the last 2 weeks. And furthermore, Carson Wentz threw up what was a punt, basically, just open in the air. And, he's got to come down with that, man. That game changes on a dime if he picks that off. The Rams were still able to get their turnover, though, on a wacky play where Wentz is doing his patented, shovel pass, and Troy Reeder's there. So pretty crazy what they were able to do there at the beginning of the game. Look, this defense is tough, okay? I'm not knocking this defense. Plus, they did lose their go-to guy in Kenny Young. He got ejected. Hopefully that's going to be a one-game thing and, it doesn't carry on into next week. I think they could use him. He's definitely aggressive, goes after the ball, has pop behind his pads. I like him. This is an opportunity for Ernest Jones. I'll have to go back and watch the film, but I'm seeing William Block sitting over there saying he got gobbled. I didn't really see him do much. Like I said, I always have to really just go back and watch the film, and I'll be able to answer those questions. It's not fair for me, right off the bat, to say, yeah, he was terrible. I didn't see him make any plays, so to speak. I saw him in there, but yeah, the shovel pass was, I don't even know. But I will say this, though, the Rams, they're a good football team. I think that's what we know for sure. It's not that they just played the Bears last week. This is a legit football team. The Colts are a good football team. Winning games on the road is always good, right? When you win a game like that on the road, where you felt that momentum, and don't tell me you didn't. I mean, come on now. The momentum on that, the Colts had just taken over that building. The fans were loud. It was Peyton Manning getting his ring, his Hall of Fame ring at Lucas Oil. They were feeling it. The Colts were in, they really started to tear it up. And guess what? The Rams were able to hang on the road. And now they have an opportunity to go home to a home environment where the crowd is cheering them on against Tampa. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, the momentum absolutely shifted. But the best thing you can do is respond. And the Rams, it took them a little bit, but they were able to respond. Yeah, I agree. The thing that got him so fired up, I don't really know. They didn't really show it. But I don't think he was just doing that for no reason. That's another thing. Like, I understand throwing Kenny Young out because he made a contact with an official, but let's not act like he just did it for no reason. There had to have been a legitimate reason why he made it such a big deal. Cup, possible offensive player of the year? Well, we'll see. Hey, Jake, remember when I mentioned number 50 Rook getting off blocks? I do remember that. I do. You agree with me, D? Appreciate you. Great point on the punt mishap. Thank you. I thought Taylor Rapp looked good. He's a good player. He gave up a couple of those plays, but I think the problem is they're in this soft zone where, he's the guy that's there on the screen that you see when the guy catches the ball and he pushes him out of bounds and it looks bad on Rapp, right? But he's playing his zone. I can't really fault him on that. I want to see more Burgess, though. I'm honestly just blown away that we haven't seen a lot of Burgess. It has to be because of the injuries coming off of. They just don't feel confident putting him back out there right now. I mean, they see these guys in practice. They know. You know what I mean? They know. Like, if the guy's ready, they'll let the guy play. Yeah, I think they're able to learn from a lot of these right before the Tampa game. So it's, better now than ever. And, Oh, yeah. Stafford is just monumental. I mean, he's just crazy, honestly. Stafford is so good, it's ridiculous. Let's put it this way. Jared Goff has thrown interceptions that weren't tipped that looked like Stafford's tipped pass today. And I had no doubt that thing was tipped at the line of scrimmage before even before anything happened. I was like, "Yep, that's tipped." Yeah, well, it is funny. You know, Jalen Ramsey doesn't want his name called. He doesn't want his name called until the end of the game when he's the closer and comes down with an interception. That's a great point, Champ from LA. I don't think Ernest Jones is ready to start. I didn't see, like, I have to go back and watch the film, of course, but, you know, I wouldn't say they got lucky. Dark Saber, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Geez, this game was everywhere, but it was a great game all around. I hope we can learn from this game and play a hard game next week against the Bucs. But Jake, who do you think was the worst on both defense and offense, and the same goes for the best? Great question. You know, the worst for the offense, that's tough. I mean, I would probably have to say, I hate doing it, but I mean, I'd probably have to say Van Jefferson by default. You know, he had a really crucial drop. That would have been a huge conversion on third down, you know, deep in your own territory. He had a huge drop. He didn't really do anything. Deshaun Jackson, I don't even think saw the field today, which was really odd. Yeah, I was definitely bummed about that. I thought they would, you know, take advantage of the top more. I did mention that pregame, you know, looking at what Lockett and Metcalf were able to do last week, but yeah, I would say Van Jefferson was the worst. And he'll bounce back. He had a really good game last year against the Bucs, caught his first ever career touchdown against the Bucs, so we'll see. As far as the worst on defense, oh man, I mean, before looking at the tape, I hate to do this, but I'd probably say Jordan Fuller. You know, Fuller had an opportunity to come down with an interception that would have been huge in the game. I thought, you know, he had a couple lapses in coverage, played a little off, I think. I'm not seeing the pop that I saw behind Jordan Fuller early on last season. And obviously it makes sense because he's got a lot he's working on. You know, he has the green dot and everything. But I definitely want to see Fuller pick up the pace a little bit. I wasn't super impressed with him in the last 2 weeks. So I would say Fuller and Jefferson were the worst. I don't like saying the worst, but, you know. And then, what was it? The best on each side? I think the best by far in the offense was Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp had 163 yards on 9 catches for 2 touchdowns. I mean, averaging 18.1 yards per catch. He's the first Rams receiver since Isaac Bruce in the early 2000s to get a 100-yard game, back-to-back games to start the season. And then the defense, I mean, I'm going to be real with you here. I want to say he didn't have a sack, but, I mean, it's hard not to say Aaron Donald. You know, I mean, what he was able to do, I mean, don't get me wrong, Leonard Floyd was awesome, okay? And you know, I'll go back and, again, I'll watch the film. But Aaron Donald made a lot of that happen, okay? Aaron Donald was generating pressures. I'm really curious to see how many pressures he generated, but there was a lot of the time where it's like he didn't get a sack. He should have had a sack, you know? But he set guys up like he always does. But he was so good in this game. I mean, he really was. And he was being held the entire game. Whether it was Quentin Nelson, he was eating Mark Lewinsky's lunch. If they moved him to defensive end or outside linebacker and they had him go one-on-one against, you know, somebody like, say, Davenport, I don't even know what the Colts were thinking leaving him on an island with Davenport. It was honestly mind-blowing to me because Davenport's just not very good. I would definitely say Donald was the best and Cooper Kupp were the best as far as the offense and defense goes. But great question. Great question, Dark Saber. You know, I really do appreciate you donating. It means a lot. It's really helping out the channel. So, especially, you know, with my film reviews and all that, since I don't get monetized for those. Really do appreciate it. Let's see here. We're going to... If you haven't already, guys, be sure to join the Discord, by the way. It's right there. I just dropped it. So, cool. A whole O-line breakdown, huh? That would be something. I don't know if I could do that in 30 minutes, though. I try to keep it to like 30. Under 30. What's up, Will? How we doing? The touchdown by Wentz in the red zone. Let's see. To Pascal? Is that the one you're talking about? I'll have to go back and watch the film on that. It was a blur. Yeah, definitely close. I think the Bucs and Rams game is going to be a very high-scoring game. I would bet the over on the point total if I were you. And I can't wait to go back. You know, I might just highlight Brian Allen again, you know, because I really don't think he played bad at first glance. I just have such a hard time saying, you know, offensive lineman played really good. I mean, the guy that really stood out to me the most, the guy that made a biggest impact, I think, was Eric Fisher, because he really shut down Justin Hollins on the other side. Man, right now I would probably say a score prediction for the Rams. I have the Rams beating the Bucs. I think the Rams are a better team. They beat the Buccaneers last season. Probably say 38-34. Something along those lines. That might be updated at some point, but I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game. Oh, awesome. Yeah, Dom, thank you. Appreciate you from Germany. Great question. You know, after the second game, I feel like the Rams' weaknesses are, you know, pretty simple here. First off, I will say this. You can throw on this team. And I'm not saying that you should be able to, but you can. You can. You can absolutely throw on this team. This team is going to play off. I hate it, but they are going to. They're going to play off their man, off ball. They gave Jack Doyle a 10-yard cushion. God knows what they're going to do when they play a guy like Tyreek Hill or somebody like that. Maybe 15, 20-yard cushion. I'm kidding. But that's my biggest concern right now for them. It's not the run defense, guys. I mean, the run defense, they bounce back in a big way. Jonathan Taylor is a great young running back, and they held him to 3.4 yards per carry. And that's honestly with a 13-yard run. So, I mean, Marlon Mack, 3.2 yards per carry, 6-yard run, 5-yard run for Hines. Didn't run with him again. So, yeah, I would definitely say, you know, looking at that, I would say, you know, they're going to be able to be thrown on, and that's something to keep in mind. Thank you, Darius. Appreciate you. Very exciting and stressful game. I hope we bring a lot more pressure to Brady. Go Rams. Yeah, they're going to need to pressure Brady. That's how you win. You want to put him on the ground. I mean, the Cowboys, think about this. Cowboys almost beat the Bucs, and they didn't really get to Brady much at all. I don't even think he was sacked. So, you know, he's got an incredible release. And these guys are so disciplined. You know, they really are. I mean, you look at Godwin and Evans and Scotty Miller and AB and Tyler Johnson. I can't wait to dive into their film, to be honest with you. I've been watching, you know, a lot of them, but I can't wait to see what they do, you know, against the Falcons. Dive into that. They're up 14-0 right now in the second quarter. The Falcons are actually in the red zone right now, so that's interesting. By the way, you know, I never look at it like this, but I know some people do. If you're curious, the Rams, who, you know, they destroyed the Bears held on against the Bengals. So, you know, the Bears are now 1-1. They're not 0-2. The Colts are 0-2, but they just played the Rams tough. I think if the Rams played them week 1, I think you would have seen something similar to the Seahawks. And I think really what it came down to was that the Rams needed to finish their sacks. I know it sounds very casual to say that, but it's very simple. You know, get home and finish the sack. And they didn't on a lot of those plays. Wentz was able to extend them. Excuse me. Wentz was able to extend them, and not only that, turn it into a huge positive. So that's something to keep in mind there. Just around the league, you know, around the NFC, since, you know, talking about the Rams, the Bears beat the Bengals 20-17. Rams, of course, beat the Colts 27-24. And 49ers beat the Eagles 17-11. Weird game over there. Not a ton going on. We did see Washington take down the Giants. That might have playoff implications down the road. Tennessee and Seattle are tied neck and neck, 3-3 at the end of the first quarter. Dallas is up 7-3 with the ball in the red zone against the Chargers. So they look good so far. Minnesota up 20-7 on the Cardinals on the road. So that's interesting. That's definitely an interesting thing. Oh my God, Gronkowski has 2 touchdowns. That's nuts. I have him in DFS. I'm very curious. All right, I'm not saying anything. But I'm just going to show you guys. If this happens, if this were to happen, I'm just saying. This is the million. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to jinx it. But if that were to happen, I'd get back on here, and I don't even know what I would announce. Man, Gronkowski. That's scary. You know, looking at them right now, Gronkowski's back. That is the underrated storyline that people do not want to talk about enough. Rob Gronkowski is back. And there's going to be people that say, well, you know, it's early on in the season. He's back in football shape. He's still young. I'm not saying he's like super young. He's 32. He's not 35, 36, 37. Mike Evans, Gronkowski, Godwin, Fournette, Antonio Brown, Ronald Jones. I'm not feeling all that great about trying to defend those guys if you're going to play some soft zone. Brady will eat you alive. Thank you, Darksaber. Brady versus Stafford. Who do you think is going to throw more next week? Who might their best receiver be? That's a tough one. I'm not going to lie to you. If Gronkowski ends up having the best game of the receivers, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. I mean, look at what Jack Doyle. Look at what Jack freaking Doyle did today to the Rams. I'm not saying he tore him up. That's not what I'm saying. But he had a pretty good game. Oh, also Carolina beat the Saints 26-7. So take that however you will. If Green Bay loses to the Lions, that's not going to look very good. I don't know if the best receiver is AB. By the way, Jack Doyle, 5 catches, 64 yards. Had a 2-point conversion that was huge. He caught a 34-yarder that he was wide open on. Atlanta just scored, by the way. Cordell Patterson just ran it in. I mean, I'd say the most decorated receiver on that team is Godwin. If you want a guy that does everything, blocking, receiving, running after the catch, it's Godwin. But the most consistent and the best receiver, like catching the football, is Evans. I mean, Godwin does everything. He went to Penn State. He was taught all of, the same things Allen Robinson was. This guy can block. He can do it all. I mean, AB's great, but my issue with AB is that it's like, I just don't know. Is he AB back with the Steelers? Like, what AB are we getting? Is he just a really good receiver now? Not still. I don't think he's elite anymore. I don't look at him and think he's elite, but we'll see. Godwin just does everything, man. He is incredible. But Evans is just The problem is you really can't match anybody up to Evans at 6'5", 230 pounds. Like, that is what they want. Like, the Rams want that out of Jacob Harris. But you know, I think Jalen Ramsey is probably going to be up for the task. I mean, he's done a nice job against him. I think they'll probably throw him on him. But we'll see. I hate that Tyrod Taylor got hurt, by the way. That really sucks. I wonder if they would have beat the Browns. Is he? Do you think AB's still elite? I'm uncertain. I need to see more. He looked really good last week, but Dallas's secondary was awful. And I mean, let's be honest here. The Falcons' secondary is pretty bad too. Yeah, I'd love to win the million. I just don't think I'm going to win the million. But hey, I'm having a good day. Too bad the Steelers' defense was horrible. Would have been great to pick Carr. Man, Derek Carr. Holy hell, he is playing well. I'm very impressed by Derek Carr lately. He's leading the league in passing, and he has to be. He had over 400 yards last week. Oh, I agree. AD had like 3 sacks. If, you know, I mean, that's part of the thing I was telling you. You know, Carson Wentz is so strong. He stays on his feet. He ducks. He's not afraid. He doesn't play like Andy Dalton. That's good. It gives you an opportunity to win if you're the Colts. It's also bad if you don't want him to get sacked. But he did a really nice job today. I thought Wentz really played well. Carson Wentz does not get enough credit. I feel like people are just ready to write him off, and he's still a good player. And by the way, this may or may not piss off some people. I'm going to be real here. There's no beating around the bush with it. Carson Wentz is better than Jared Goff. He's a better quarterback. You saw it today. He's a better quarterback than Jared Goff. He does more out of structure. He keeps the play alive. He always keeps his eyes downfield. He breaks tackles. The only issue with Wentz is that he always gets hurt. He puts himself in weird situations like today. Why was his ankle in that position? What on earth? But I'm telling you, Wentz is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. Dak's better than all three, all of them together, but I mean, I'd say Wentz is better than Goff. At the end of the day, Wentz has a Super Bowl that he didn't actually win as the starting quarterback. Jared Goff has a Super Bowl loss. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, though, because, well, Goff wins more, with the Rams. If Wentz was with the Rams, I'm sure he would have been winning, too. Matthew Stafford didn't get picked because he was horrible. He wasn't trying to be a god. It got tipped. That's why the ball got picked. It got tipped. Matthew Stafford was pretty great today. And I'm just waiting for the adjusted completion percentage to come out, because once it does, it's going to prove that Matthew Stafford was great. Today he was great. Like, he had so many drop balls. He had the tip. I mean, Guys, did you catch that moment where Matthew Stafford got sacked by I don't know if it was a sack. I think he got it was a carry, right? He got tackled by what's his face? DeForest Buckner. And the announcer, I think it was Vilma, was like, "Oh, look at DeForest Buckner coming through. He's just wrecking havoc." I'm like, what? He was behind because he got beat so badly by Brian Allen. That's why he was able to he tackled Stafford from behind. When Stafford stepped up in the pocket, when he was in the red zone, that one play. I just thought it was so funny because it was like he only got the sack because he got beat so badly by Brian Allen, so he ran from behind. That's why he was so far backwards. Okay, yeah, Nolan, you know exactly the one I'm talking about. Like, like what? Really? Yeah, I could do that. I could probably do film. I might just break down the whole freaking game. Probably not. It's a lot of work. I'm going on so many podcasts this week. I don't know if you guys saw, but this guy, Dan Clark or whatever, he tweeted out this, and you guys that are in the Discord know what I'm talking about. He tweeted out this thing that was like complaining. He always asks for $50 to $100 for a podcast appearance, or like somebody to have him on their podcast. Like he charges them $50 to $100. Like fine, whatever. But he tweeted about it, and like it just came off as so elitist and petty. So what ended up happening is that like I tweeted back, and I just listed like Kurt Warner, like all these guys I've interviewed, right? And I said none of them charged me, right, so to speak, like chill, Dan. And then I commented below, and I was, oh, by the way, it just reminded me, if anyone wants a free podcast guest, I am available. And then, oh my God, my DMs exploded. I'm getting asked left and right to go on podcasts. It's really cool, but I'm going to be really busy this week, so it's a good thing that I don't have a job at the moment. But I figured I'd share that with you if you guys didn't know that. Yeah. So, you know, just looking at everything right now. Yeah, Titans defense looking good. Ooh, Lockett had a 51-yard grab. That explains a lot, actually. I'm rooting for Gronkowski to catch 5 touchdowns today and help me win $1 million. Julio Jones just had a big play. I just can't believe it, guys. Like, Gronkowski is back. I have no doubt. None. Podcasts everywhere. Yeah. My calendar has about 10 podcasts that I'll be joining this week. I still have to record mine. We have to, of course, have our videos, have our time, our live streams. You know, but when do I do film sessions? Well, I like to wait until all 22 comes out. Last week it didn't. Hopefully it comes out this week. They normally come out around Tuesday or Wednesday. Probably Tuesday, since it's a Sunday game. Normally, like, the primetime Sunday night or, like, Monday comes out Wednesday, so. Oh, I will. I'll share every single one. I want to help those people out. I really do appreciate them inviting me on. It really means the world, and I'll help them out as much as I can. So I'll be promoting post and pre-podcast for them. It should be a lot of fun on all of those. And I'll be talking about a bunch of stuff. So I'll be talking a lot of Rams football. I'll be talking a lot of NFL, and I'm going on a hockey podcast. Man, I'm not a hockey expert, but I just really appreciate somebody reaching out. They thought it was that cool that I responded to the tweet. So, yeah, if you guys can, please be sure to hit the like button. We're at 30. We have 81 concurrent viewers in here. Everyone hit that thumbs up. Really does help me out. Let's get it up. And I'll chill with you guys. I mean, we're only at the 47-minute mark. I mean, I'll chill with at least the next 30 minutes if you guys are down. Let's get it. Everyone hit that thumbs up. Like. Got 39, 41. Yeah, I'll name them. All right, let's see here. So this week, I have the parking lot show at 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I think that's a live stream, so I'll let you guys know about the link there. Kieran's Corner podcast guest appearance at 4 p.m. Eastern time on tomorrow. Bears, Birds, and Brews podcast tomorrow at 6. Then I have Dine's Sport podcast at 1 on Wednesday. Thursday's open. I don't know why. I think I left it open for a reason. And then I'm going on Purple Parents podcast at 7 on Friday, and Dynasty Dorks at 9 on Friday. And then next week, I don't know if I have anything booked out. I'll have to go back, but yeah, that's what I have so far. So pretty big week. I have some other stuff as well, but I didn't get their podcast names, so you know. So yeah, I figured I'd shout all those people out. Vikings killing the cards, bro. We still doing Monday for that stream? Yeah, you mean later on in the year? Yeah. Or later on in the month, not year. Appreciate that, Sanaka. That's how I look at it, you know. That was kind of my whole point of making a big deal about it. Is that people like Dan look at it as like, oh, I need to get paid for how much I'm working. Bro, podcast guesting, do you realize that's mutually beneficial? It's one of those great things. I'm a podcaster, okay? I just put out podcast 375 of the Downtown Rams podcast that I recorded last night with Alexis, okay? 375 episodes. I know podcasting. And people guesting, I mean, maybe Kurt Warner isn't, hugely beneficial off of our podcast, but it is Ram-centric. And he was able to get out that he was going to be in that, have that movie about him. So we did drop that on our show last year. But furthermore, we're not just talking about Kurt Warner. The analysts we get on, it's mutually beneficial. You're getting your name out there. It helps the podcast because you're getting a bigger name out there. Their people will join and listen. And then, of course, you go over there. Now we have, we're smashing our communities together in a good way. So if anyone thinks that they should be paid for their podcasting, that's fine. But I'm not even going to say you're wrong, but just don't complain about it on Twitter. That was my biggest thing. So, yeah, it was a weird flex for sure. It didn't go well. Good question, Meanie Grinch. I'm not really sure, but that's a really good question. Thank you, William. Appreciate you. And William, I think I agree a lot with that. It does feel like I never worry when the Rams are down with Stafford. Like I'm not worried. I know, albeit they've only been down once, but with Goff, I kind of felt like it was not going to be good. Yeah, the Ravens-Chiefs game should be fun. X factors in next week's game. Well, I mean, I think Gronkowski for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think Tyler Higbee for the Rams. And maybe Sony Michel. If Sony Michel starts, I mean, that's going to be very interesting. So we'll see. Matthew, thank you. Do you think McVay would have picked Wentz over Goff? All right. You guys ready? I do. I do think McVay would have picked Wentz over Goff. And I also think McVay would have picked Goff over Wentz, and here's why, okay? Now, knowing what he knows now, he would have picked Wentz over Goff. And I'm not talking about their success. I'm talking about him. Say Goff, you replace Goff with Bradford, okay? And you still get the same thing last year with Wolford and getting that mobility. McVay has a different mindset now. He believes in mobility and working off schedule and creating and improvising. So if tomorrow he had to make the decision Wentz or Goff and they had never played an NFL snap, he would take Wentz. However, I think before he became as well known as a head coach, I think early on in his career, he would have taken Goff because that was the type of guy that Kirk Cousins was. Now, Kirk Cousins is a little bit more mobile, don't get me wrong, but he's not Wentz. And I feel like he respected mobility a lot more as Goff's career went on. So it's a weird, very weird way to answer that question, which I love that question, by the way, Matthew. But that's how I would say. I'd say before, I think McVay takes Goff. Now, McVay would take Wentz. Has nothing to do with their success. He would take the mobile quarterback over, you know, he would take the pocket passer. Because I think back then, McVay's ideology, McVay's mindset was different. Whereas now, he's been to a Super Bowl. He's seen the league transform. It's not just Russell Wilson anymore, okay? Kyler Murray's coming in the league, and, oh, Trevor Lawrence can run. Did you see that? Oh, did you know, Baker Mayfield can run? Lamar Jackson, Sam Darnold. I mean, this is the league now. If you don't have a mobile quarterback, he better be freaking Tom Brady. So that's the best way I could put it. Let's see. That was a really good question. Thought-provoking. Good game today, Jake. Thumbs up, smashed. Rams defense had their way. They're so good. Davenport got owned. Dabney. I appreciate you so much for supporting this channel. I am rooting for your Colts the rest of the way. And I respect the hell out of that team. And it was a good game today. And they played way better than I expected, but that's not even fair because I liked them coming in the year. I shouldn't have been so low on them. Definitely a good effort today for the Colts. And Michael Pittman, I know a lot of you are SC fans. Michael Pittman made SC fans, I like SC as well. Michael Pittman made SC fans look, feel good, obviously. Now that the game's over, now that the Rams have already won, you can look back and you can see Michael Pittman have himself a day. That was a career game for Michael Pittman, and it's good to see that. Let's see. Interesting play in Cards game, probably up for review. I feel so out of it right now. What's going to be the first watch party going to... Oh, well, that's a great question. I do not know. It could be soon. We'll see. I'll let you guys know when I have an idea on that. I believe we'll handle Bucks, but odds of beating Brady 2 in a row is nuts. It seems that way. Yoho Jake, tough game, but a drubbing and a close game. Both the same W. 2-0. Next week, huge game. We need to hunt Brady down, turn Ramsey loose on him. Yeah, Mark, I think they're going to use Ramsey all over the field like they did more against the Bears. I think they were more conservative this week, with Ramsey. Again, have to go back and watch the film because it's really hard to even evaluate a secondary when they don't even show you half the secondary. So, that based on what I saw, I think they'll use him. They'll turn him loose a little bit more this upcoming game. Jake, how do you feel about the offense going cold and letting the Colts come back and take the lead? I know it was partially because of the fluke special teams breakdown, but the game was still close. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I really think when you look at it, the Rams offense went cold because of drops. And, I think another issue is that the Rams, were running well with Henderson, and McVay kind of stopped running the football, once Henderson had a 2-yard run or a 3-yard run. Like, if you stuck with it, you believed in your offensive line, I don't think that those drops would have been as crucial. Throwing 3 straight times and, not picking up the first down is always a backbreaker. So that's what I would say with that. I'm not too worried about it. Keep in mind, new offense, right? I mean, of course they're trying to run what they wanted to run with Goff, but they couldn't. But that's a new offense. And it's funny because before those drops, you know what I was thinking? Everyone's catching everything. You know why? Because Stafford just puts it right where it needs to be. It's not behind a guy. It's right where it needs to be. It's on a line. It's a tight spiral. It's not all wobbly. It's not a duck. There's consistency there. It's easier to catch a ball like that. MX Master, enjoying your show. Thank you. Michelle is the running back for next week and great of season. So I don't know what's going to happen with Henderson. I do think fantasy implications, and I will say this because I love you guys. I'm going to let you guys know because I think Henderson is a running back in this league, and I think he could be a starting running back in this league, and I think right now he's been impressive, right? I think he's everything I thought he'd be. His injury is fluke. I'm not going to call him injury prone. That is a fluke injury. Cam Akers got some sort of injury like that last year in week 2 against Philly. If you remember the football going into nearly his heart. So let me just say this. I think Henderson's going to be fine, but I'm not the one that makes the decisions. I think this opens up the door for Sony Michel, and I think you're going to end up seeing a timeshare. The Rams kind of showed you they're not really... I know there's a lot of fans out there that like Jake Funk, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't like him. I do like him. I had a 6th round grade on him. The Rams got him the 7th, so good value. But I got to tell you, they are not confident in Jake Funk being the running back, and they did not run it. I don't think they ran it once with Funk, unless I'm wrong, because I really don't think they ran it once with Jake Funk. I'm going to look it up right now, but I'm almost positive they didn't. So, and he was in. Yeah, not one carry for Jake Funk. Not one. So, I mean, I like him. He's a really good special teamer. I think there's some things that you like to see on the kickoff, in the kickoff game. I think he can return, and he showed you, okay, he's got some wiggle to him. He's a good, he has some good vision. Really good pad level. I think he's going to be able to bounce off tackles, have a couple huge, plays this year. But Sony Michel is the guy they trusted, and that says a lot because they traded for him, but he has not yet caught up to the offense the way Henderson, the way Funk is. So the fact that he's ahead of Funk already would definitely slow down on the Funk train because, look, it's really impressive that Jake Funk is out there as a 7th round pick when the 2nd rounder isn't out there, when the 3rd rounder isn't out there, when he was, by the way, a healthy scratch. The 4th round pick is not out there. Ernest Jones was out there. 4th round pick, Bobby Brown, was a healthy scratch. The other 4th round pick is on special teams. And the other 4th round pick, he was out there last week, wasn't out there this week. Then, of course, you have Ernest Brown who didn't make the roster. He's on the practice squad. And then everyone else in the 7th round. I mean, I think Garrett is going to have a role. He's just on COVID IR. And Ben Skoranek, I don't think he was a healthy scratch. I think he's healing, but he also broke his forearm, so they're being cautious with him. So that's something to keep in mind. It's impressive that Jake Funk is out there because there's not a ton of rookies out there right now. And I said that. This is not a class that you're going to go right away from the get-go and be like, wow, this rookie class is phenomenal. But over time, it could sneak up on you. And that was the thing. And Sony Michel, he hits the hole hard. He's the one that's going to, he initiates the contact. He's not afraid. He ran a 4.6. So what? He doesn't have the long speed, but I don't really care. If, you're looking for a short area, yard guy, that's the guy you're going to go to. So when he gets comfortable, he's going to be a touchdown vulture. Just fair warning to you Henderson owners out there in fantasy. He's going to be a touchdown vulture, and I think if Henderson doesn't play this week and Sony has a big game, it's going to turn into a timeshare. It really is. And I always kind of felt like it could be like that, but then initially I was like, you know what? They love Henderson, man. It's going to end up being like 20 touches for Henderson and like 8 to 12 for Sony. Then I see the first game he gets a touch, and I'm like, okay. Well, in this game, if you look, he had 10 touches in this one. So go from 1 to 10. Obviously, the injury propelled him. But keep in mind, before that injury, the Rams were riding with Henderson. So it's going to be interesting. But if Henderson does not play against the Bucs and Sony Michel has a good game, it's going to be at least I think it's going to be a timeshare. And that's something to keep in mind. Oh, how did Tampa score? Oh, it was Mike Evans. Damn. I was hoping it'd be Gronkowski. Would love another touchdown from Gronk. Tyler Lockett, yes. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to cheer on the Seahawks, but I'm trying to go for $1 million. This is nuts. This is absolutely bizarre. This is for $1 million, just letting you guys know. I don't think I've ever had this good of a game before. I have probably, but not for a million. Normally these are the ones I get off to a great start and then fall off. But let's see. Sony's got strength. You're absolutely right. This is money related. We ain't tripping. I mean, how crazy would that be, though? If I were to win. I'm not going to. And here's why. Because the guy who's winning, he's probably got a ridiculous defense. And I don't. Yep, he's got the Bills. He's got Gronkowski. And, okay. All right. Still alive. He's got KJ Osborne. Bro, the guy that has $1 million right now. If you look at this, he's got similar to me. He's got Kupp and Hendo, and he's got Najee. He's got Hopkins going. He's got KJ Osborne going, and he's got Gronkowski and Murray. Murray has 24 at the half. I'm not going to win the million. Sadly. Although Lockett, yeah, I'm not going to win it, but I could win a lot of money, so that would be cool. I mean, if I got into like, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch, but I think it's cool that I'm even that close. I felt pretty good about the roster. I don't know why. I feel like when I picked Stafford, I thought he was going to have like a 4-touchdown game, and yet I still, for whatever reason, had some uncertainty with it. And the Steelers' defense and special teams has been great, so I was like, oh, they just flatten the Bills. They'll probably flatten the Raiders. Yeah, they didn't. So, yeah. Yeah, Murray just, wow, that's crazy. The Cards came all the way back. Oh, that explains why that explains why Murray has so many points at the half. Tony Pollard is out rushing Ezekiel Elliott. I'm laughing over here. I'm sorry. I've said it. I've gone on record saying it. I think Tony Pollard's a better running back than Ezekiel Elliott, but no one wants to believe me. Elliott does not impress me. He just doesn't. He's a great blocker. He's great in pass pro. Unless he goes against Aaron Donald and then he gets baptized. But yeah, I'm not overly impressed with Ezekiel Elliott, to be honest with you. Memphis running backs representing, man. He does. Hey, everyone, 48 likes. Let's get that up. We got 78 people in here, more than that. So let's get the likes up if we can. Keep it going. If you're on your phone, you just have to flip up this chat, and then you'll find the like button. Elliott switched the offensive line. Yeah. Man. It would have been cool to win the million. Maybe someday, right? I don't even know what I would do right now. I don't have a job. If I won $1 million off of playing FanDuel when I never play it, that'd be something else. Thank you, James. Oh, man. 39-0. And I never felt like they were going to lose, but it did seem crazy to me that just over and over again with the whole we're just going to keep repeating and repeating and repeating that. Man, if I didn't have the Steelers defense, they are killing me. Oh, that's so frustrating. I won't say the only thing because, like I was saying earlier, the bad snap made it so the Rams could reset their offense, get back on the field, take the ball at the 25, not focus on, being in their own territory or whatever, and, deep in their own territory. And furthermore, the Colts weren't able to take time off the clock and then score, leaving like only 5-6 minutes left in the game, And so I think that was crucial. I think it allowed the Rams. They had to feel good about that in a sense because I think it lit a fire under the offense. Like, we got to get things going. So, to respond like that, though, you see the momentum shift in the way it was for the Colts. I mean, that was some impressive stuff. That was definitely impressive. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, if I won the million, I mean, I might start giving some of it away. Not a ton because, well, I need to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with it and how much I'm going to get taxed. But, man, hopefully someday I can go through that process and go through that moment. And hopefully it's on the air. I will lose my mind. You don't like the Chargers? It's hard to say I have another squad, I like teams. I root for teams in certain situations that benefits my favorite team. I don't have, and I said this the other day, I don't really. One second. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have those heartstrings. I don't have the tugs in my chest. I don't have my heart pounding for the teams that I like. You know what I mean? When I love, like, the Rams, it feels that way. I'm hoping Kansas gets good enough at football to feel that way. I get that way about Alabama. Like, yesterday, they freaked me out a little bit. And USC, when they were down, even though I don't even know what to make of USC. Right now, I would just keep rolling with Jackson Dart. I like him a lot. I liked him. I thought he should honestly start over Slovis, and people thought I was nuts. I just kept hearing good things about the true freshman and was like, you know what? I have a feeling he's going to end up being really good. Yeah, Frank Reich is awesome. He really is. He's a really good coach. What they were able to do last year with Phillip Rivers, who, let's be honest there, Phillip Rivers was not very good last year. He just wasn't. He turned the ball over way too much. And, I think if they had this Carson Wentz last year in that offense, they might have been able to knock off Buffalo. And really, they should have beat Buffalo. They had every opportunity. I disagree to an extent. And here's why, Tony. I understand what you're saying. But I think with people, we all have different experiences in our life. And I've had friends where it's like, their dad was like a super fan of the Cowboys, right? But then, their dad gets divorced with their mom and then, starts to be close to the stepdad. The stepdad cares more about the kid, and then the dad kind of fades off. So while, he may have been into like the Cowboys, for instance, he becomes an Eagles fan because, his stepdad's an Eagles fan. I've seen things like that. So it's like, I don't really mind it. I don't. And I always say this, like whoever you want, root for whoever you want. At the end of the day, as much as you put in as a fan is what you're going to get out of it. And what I mean by that is when the Rams win the Super Bowl, people that are diehards are going to get that just unbelievable feeling. Whereas the people that jumped on the bandwagon, they'll like it. It'll be fun. But it's not going to be the same way that you enjoy it. And it's like the same thing. You go to a concert, right? You go and see a band with your friends. Your friends are diehard fans of that band. And you know 2 songs. You may enjoy the show, but you're not going to enjoy it as much as the diehards are. It's the same thing. Literally the same thing. It's the same feeling. You'll sit there and you'll be like, this is cool. I'm having fun. This is fun. All right. But you're going to see them jumping up and down and singing all the lyrics, and you'll be like, yeah, you know, I kind of wish I got in on this band a little bit earlier. I would have enjoyed this more. It's the same thing. Like when the Rams win the Super Bowl, people are going to be like, oh my God. Like I watched them when they won 1 game in a 16-game season. And I just watched them like 10 years later win a Super Bowl. Obviously not 10 years, but like around that, whatever. Whereas the people that are like, yeah, I was just a Browns fan, but then I became a Rams fan because they got Stafford, or I was a Lions fan because they became, you know, I think the Lions fans are a little different though, because the Lions fans that became Rams fans are rooting for Stafford. So it'll be like winning a Super Bowl for real for them because, you know, they love Stafford. But I feel like if you like a different team and you switch to the Rams because they're good, or you like Sean McVay, or like Cooper Kupp or whatever, or your fantasy team, you're not going to like it the same, you know? And I think that's the thing, is that we just need to realize that, you know, a bandwagon fan, like, who cares? Who cares about a measuring stick on fandom? You know? And you know, another thing I see a lot of is zip code. How many of you Rams fans in here right now aren't in LA, or aren't from St. Louis, or aren't from Cleveland? Your zip code does not define who you like. It may, it totally, and that's fine, but it doesn't have to. You know, a friend of mine, JB Long, you might know him. He's the voice of the Rams. He said, you know, they're like, he was saying that. He's like, a zip code doesn't define the team that you like necessarily. You can like whoever you want. You're not confined to a space. So, you know, it's weird. It's like this measuring stick of who's the bigger fan. How about instead of worrying about who the bigger fan is, how about you realize, hey, that's another fan to add to the fan base. It's going to help the fan base grow. You know? I mean, I'll say this. You know, I'm looking over at the Rams Twitter right now. They're at 969,000 followers. I would sure love to see them hit 1 million. I would. I want to see the fan base get bigger. It helps me help. It helps, you know, my brand. But it also helps all of us, because everything's better when, you know, the fan base grows. That's when things get even better. It gets more fun. You know, it's like, you know, let's say, look at the Patriots, right? So the Patriots Twitter right now. So I said the Rams have 969K. The Patriots have 4.5 million. Now, how did that happen? Were there bandwagon fans? Absolutely. I have friends that literally aren't even Patriots fans anymore, that they were a kid, they were trying to learn the game of football, and they just picked whoever won the Super Bowl that year, and it just happened to be New England. But the reason they have the 4.5 million is because they won and they were consistent. Well, what are the Rams doing right now? They're winning and they're being consistent. They just have to win a Super Bowl. They start bringing multiple Super Bowls to the table. You could see that 4.5 million. You could see the fan base growing. And at the end of the day, do you think Patriots fans are like, oh, get out of here, you're a fake fan? No. I mean, I'm sure fans, there's all sorts of fans that do that. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just ridiculous. Like, measuring stick of who the bigger fan is. It's just the weirdest thing. I never understood it. So let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. You know, people from St. Louis, people from LA, people from Cleveland, you know, people from New York, people from Pennsylvania, wherever you're from. You know, if you're a Rams fan, you're a Rams fan. You know, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, just go after you and be like, well, if you're a Rams fan, who was the last backup quarterback before, you know, so-and-so? I mean, I'm not going to ask you that, you know? It's like, I don't care. If you're a Rams fan, cool. You're on my side. And honestly, if you're not a Rams fan, you're welcome on this channel, because it's not just Rams. It's the majority Rams. But I also do other fantasy football stuff. I do NFL stuff, all that. But I don't know. We need to be nicer to people. Can't stress that enough. So just figured I'd throw that out there because I've been seeing it a lot. Like, well, you can't be a Rams fan because you like the Chargers. Bro, yes you can. Like, you absolutely can. You can like both teams. You can love both teams. Some people do. The teams that you love are the teams that you have that connection to. You can't fake that connection, you know? Yeah, exactly, Nolan. Oh, man, that's so true. The trivia fans. I gotta make one of those videos when they're like, oh, if you're really a fan, who wore number 99 in 1944? What? Like, I'd be a good therapist? I don't think so. Hey, I try to like people. People piss me off, but not you guys. Not you guys. See, like, I'm not even gonna lie. I openly root for the Chargers. I don't know why. I like them. I don't love them because they're not my team. But I like Brandon Staley. I appreciate what Brandon Staley meant to the Rams last year. And keep in mind, he's the gift that keeps on giving because he gifted the Rams that type of defensive scheme. You know, that philosophy. That is in there. So you got to give credit to Raheem Morris, what he does this season and the success he has. But you also have to give credit to Brandon Staley, who has kept that philosophy going in that Rams organization. It's definitely impressive to me. And I would just say, I like teams. I mean, whoever's playing the NFC West, I don't like any of the NFC West teams. I don't hate the Cardinals. Hard to hate the Cardinals. But the Seahawks are like that. They're the best way I could put it, they're the cockroach that doesn't die. I mean, the Seahawks went to the playoffs with Charlie frickin' Whitehurst. They don't go away. They don't go away. They literally will not go away. I mean, yeah, the Cardinals 24-23 at halftime. That game is wild. The Niners, I mean, I have some Niners fans that follow the channel I respect a ton, but I mean, obviously I don't like the Niners. I don't really have any issue with any other teams. I mean, my cousin is a Steelers fan, so, I tend to root for them when they're not playing the Rams or hurting the Rams. And for people that bring up 1979, I wasn't born, at all. I wasn't even thought of. I wasn't even a dream at that point, so I know they lost to the Steelers in that playoff game, or to the Super Bowl, but I wasn't born yet, so I don't have that hatred for them. It's kind of the same with the Lakers and Celtics. I feel like the Lakers settled the score when I was a kid, so it's I don't have any hatred towards the Celtics really. It's really weird. Yeah, I mean, and then there's just there's fans that bigger fan bases that kind of just ones that are in my mentions all the time. Last year, the Bills fans annoyed the hell out of me because, I mean, let's call it like it is. Okay, Darius Williams, that PI was BS, and the refs gave the Bills a first down on fourth down, an incomplete pass on fourth down. They put the ball at the 1 yard line and said, go win the game. So yeah, I was pissed off about that. I called them out on that, and then Bills fans were in my mentions. The Niners fans were in my mentions. So they're a little annoying. Not all of them, but, a lot of them. And then the Browns fans have been obnoxious. Oh, my God. Because they'll call me a Steelers fan. I'm like, bro, I don't even like the Steelers. I'm a Rams fan. What? So there's, there's fan bases that get under your skin a little bit. I mean, Saints fans, but I don't really care. You have no leg to stand on. I mean, the Rams beat you in the playoffs, and I was right. I mean, I know they didn't play that well today, but Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than Taysom Hill. You can't tell me otherwise. He is a better quarterback. The Taysom Hill fan club is just out of this world bonkers, but, the Eagles, it's like I didn't really like the way they treated Andy Reid, the fans. I didn't like the way they treated Dom McNabb. I didn't like the way they turned on Wentz. But right now, I don't have any issue with the Eagles. I like Jalen Hurts. He played at Bama. So, yeah, but I know some really cool Saints fans. So it's like, fans that are annoying at times, yeah. Like, you know what fan base was really cool to me? I went on the Bears podcast. I went about 6 Bears podcasts last week. Bears fans are awesome, man. They were all like, I saw so many subscribing to my channel. I saw so many, like, were like a few DM'd me and they're like, hey, I didn't even know who you were. And then you came on to this, Bears podcast and, really enjoyed, your flow of speech, and I'll be tuning in and, next time you have any Bears content or something. I was like, well, I appreciate that. And then there are, of course, other fans that just aren't like that. But no, the Steelers fans have shown me a lot of love. The Rams fans have shown me a ton of love. I do get your occasional, I don't know if it's jealousy or what, but I know I get an occasional Ram fan here and there that hates, what I'm doing. And I mean, it is what it is. It's like I'm not going to worry too much about that. But for the most part, Rams fans support me. Steelers fans have been nice to me, show me love. Bears fans have shown me love. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can really think of right now. I mean, I'm sure in the past I've gotten some the Ravens fans have been pretty cool too. Bengals fans as well. I think Denver. Colts. Titans? Yeah, I mean, Packers, I think. Lions. Yeah, the Lions fans are cool in here. Giants fans. I mean, they should. I was high on them last year and high on them again this year. And that Rams fan is somewhere complaining right now. It's okay if you hate the Niners. It's okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. I get it. What did I think of Florida and Alabama? Florida played a hell of a game. It's tough to win in Gainesville, and just called it Gamesville. God, cancel me now. No, I'm kidding. Gainesville. It's tough to win there. Their defense played well. Emory Jones gave an opportunity. Not Florida State. Sorry, Nolan. Florida looked really good. And, I think that needs to be said. I mean, they played a really good football game. And, I mean, Alabama, Nick Saban's going to, as soon as they win, it's like he's, it doesn't matter the score. He's always chewing out somebody. That's what, defines excellence for me. This is constant accountability no matter what. Rams do the same thing, by the way. But, yeah, I mean, you want to see that defense shore up. I do think, losing their outside linebacker last week for the season, or 2 weeks ago for the season, hurt them. And I already forgot his name. God, I have so many names going through my mind right now. But, yeah, I think that's definitely something to keep in mind. It definitely could have hurt them. And I'm curious to see how Alabama responds. And I know there's a lot of people saying that they want Georgia at number 1. I think it's ridiculous. Alabama didn't lose, okay? And they played a really tough Florida team on the road and won. Bryce Young looks tremendous. He's the best quarterback in the country, I think. But, that's what I would say in regards to that, just to answer your question. That's what I think about that game. Florida has a lot going for themselves. It's a good program, You have to feel good if you're a Florida fan. That was definitely, eye-opening. Let's see. Yeah, Arizona added, a few pieces. They're interesting. I have them making the playoffs at, I think 9-8 or 10-7. Let's see. Rewrite Jones's contract. Dude, you rock, and the only Rams fan I believe and listen to. We looked okay, but got the W. Hey, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. There are some great Rams content creators. I'm not going to act like I'm the only one, but anytime, someone does give me that type of, compliment, I'm not going to shut it down. And, I do appreciate it. Always try my best. I try to get 1% better each video, and hopefully I do that. Philly fans. I seen him doing it earlier. How did they take the touchdown away from Julio? They took a touchdown away from Julio? What? That's nuts. I didn't see it. Oh, they just called defensive pass interference with 25 seconds to go and at the 1 yard line. And it was to Tyler Lockett. So if they don't throw a touchdown at Tyler Lockett, I'm not going to be happy. I could really use it right now. Like I said, not going to win the $1 million. I'd like to win a lot of money, though. That'd be nice. At the Tennessee 1 yard line. Damn. Oh, you're very welcome, Ted. I didn't know you were a Florida Gators fan. Jake, I don't have a favorite college team. How should I go about picking one? Great question. I have 3 college teams. The reason being for each of them, one, I have family in Lawrence, Kansas. A bunch of my family has gone to Lawrence, Kansas. Family has worked there. Family still works there. And there's some big, deep-rooted history there, and I get heartstrings beyond compare when I'm watching Kansas basketball. So I know I love them. I like Alabama football. I've really turned into a huge fan of theirs. I started liking them when people were, I don't know, it was weird. It was like people were not giving them an opportunity against Clemson or Georgia or whatever. It was half a decade ago or whatever. I just grew to like them, and I just love the way Nick Saban runs that program, and I don't know, I just started to like them. And then USC I've liked for years. Ever since Reggie Bush, I watched that. It was must-see TV. I've been a fan ever since. So those are the 3 teams I watch. I don't really watch much college football during the season because I don't want it to, change my opinions or push me in another way. I don't want any chance of me having any sort of bias when I'm doing my scouting. So I don't like to watch a ton of it, but yeah, I mean, that's what I'll say there. I think those are my 3 teams based on that. Now, for you, Christian, if you're trying to pick a college team, I would say location isn't everything, but people do like location. For me, I would never pick Syracuse. I don't like them at all. I don't have an issue with the college, but I just don't prefer Syracuse. They beat Kansas in the NCAA tournament to win the title. Carmelo Anthony. Don't have any issue with their football program, but I wouldn't pick them. UAlbany, my father went to, so I like them, but they're not, top notch or anything like that. Siena, I don't care about. I know they're local, but nobody I know. Well, none of my family. Well, I'm sure some people went to Siena that I know, but I don't know. I don't really care for them. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, so that I didn't pick anything based on location, but you can. So that's a way to do it, Christian. Another way to pick is, you like certain players. Think about this. I picked the USC Trojans early on in my life because I loved watching Reggie Bush. He was must-see TV. I remember it like it was yesterday. He was so fun to watch. You had guys like Mike Williams and Dwayne Jarrett and, of course, I liked Leinart. I didn't love him the way other people did. I was just a huge fan of Reggie Bush. So, Yeah, it's, you don't have to. Yeah, college is a feeling. It's picking a college football team is going to be hard for you. For me, I had watching Bush, that was a huge thing for me. Alabama, I really like Nick Saban, and I don't know, the media hating on them or whatever, because the media did used to hate on them. I know they don't now. They did used to do it. It kind of pushed me that way when they started getting some quarterbacks there. And then, what is it? Kansas, I have the family connection. So if you have family connections, that's a way. If you graduated from a certain college, that's a way. Location, that's certainly a way to pick. There's multiple ways to do it. There's multiple ways to do it. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. I don't know. I kind of like Southern Miss. How are they doing this year? Not a bad football program. I mean, they put out some good talent in the NFL. Okay, they're 1-2. They just lost to Troy. Gotcha. Ooh, they play Alabama next week. Well, that would not be the time to get in on them. Frank Gore Jr. That's their running back? Frank Gore's kid? What? That's nuts. It is Frank Gore's kid. Damn. Do you feel old now, guys? Frank Gore Jr. is the running back at Southern Miss. That's nuts. That's understandable, Matthew. I don't know, Christian. Do you have a favorite player in the country? Yeah, we're definitely not winning the million, guys. No one's doing anything for me. Overall, what do I think about the Rams? One of the best teams in football, if not the best. They'll be my number one. You can throw on them. You can kind of run on them, but they're just gonna. I mean, they can match up. They have an equalizer. They didn't even use the deep ball really much today. I mean, a wide open Cup because of what he was able to do, and obviously Stafford's eyes, but they didn't even really use speed. Keep in mind that they have Van Jefferson, they have Deshaun Jackson as the equalizer over the top. They can beat you, with the short area passing attack. Obviously Kupp breaking tackles and just slithering his way through the defense, and then you have Robert Woods. I mean, they could just beat you all over the place. And I'm not really like if Darrell Henderson doesn't play, I still think Sony Michel can run. So. I'll be honest with you, man. I just think it's going to be whoever has the ball last is probably going to have a chance to win the game. I'm sticking by it right now. 38-34. Two great teams. I think the Rams win close. Just about to wrap this up. Does anyone have any final questions for me? I'm running on quarters. I don't know what that means, but... Hey, I appreciate that. I try to be the best. If you guys haven't already, join the Discord. It's free. Talk Rams as much as you want. It's already live right now. There's a ton of people talking. So it's active, chat, nonstop. Definitely want to join that. What is the media going to say when we beat the Buccaneers? Give us an acting show really quick. Oh, man, what are they going to say? I just don't... This Rams team, there's just something missing. I mean, they beat... you look at Andy Dalton and I guess some of Justin Fields, and then they beat Carson Wentz, or the carcass of Carson Wentz. Now they beat a 44-year-old Tom Brady, and you're going to tell me that they're a top team in the league? Give me a break. They can't run the football. Darrell Henderson's injury prone. Cooper Kupp isn't going to be wide open all season long. And Matthew Stafford doesn't win in the playoffs. I'm not worried about the Rams. I'm out on the Rams. The Rams are not scary. That's how it's going to go. Oh, man, it's so painful to sound stupid, but, I guess I could be an actor. Probably not, but. Oh, then you love the Eastern Washington connection the Rams have. It's like a... What's up, Nick? Yeah, I can hear, what's his face? I can hear Nick Wright going like, Colin, I still have question marks about the Rams. I still have question marks. I just don't. There's something not there. There's something not there. I don't know. Matthew Stafford is 0-3 in the playoffs. And I know this Rams team is different. But he's 0-3. I mean, he had Calvin Johnson. He had Golden Tate. Last time I checked, Marvin Jones just caught a touchdown the other day from Trevor Lawrence. It's not like he had nobody. He had a top 3 defense with the Lions. No one wants to talk about that because it helps their case with Matthew Stafford. And this guy's thumb is always hurt. Yeah, I know he hasn't missed a snap, but I mean, come on. He's always hurt. Don't get me started with Sean McVay. Sean McVay just literally wants to hire whoever he wants to hire. And he goes out there and he makes mistakes, but he gets covered up because the defense is so good. But they're not that good because they don't have Troy Hill or Trevor Hill or whatever his name is and John Johnson. And last time I checked, Raheem Morris, he's not Wade Phillips. Colin, this team isn't going to win a Super Bowl. I'd put more money on the Raiders, Colin. I don't know why. I can, like, hear him saying all of that. And I feel bad. He hasn't even said it. But, like, bro. Oh, I cannot wait. Okay. All right. Here's one. Seattle is up 24-9 at halftime. The Titans have now gotten dominated twice, back-to-back weeks with the Cardinals and the Seahawks. No one will care about the Titans being 0-2, but they'll be like, Kyle, let me tell you, Seattle looked good. Russell Wilson, he's cooking. I mean, Seattle is the team to beat. I don't have anything else to say. Just Seattle is so good. They told me I have to talk for 20 minutes about Seattle, and I'm running out of things to talk about. But look at Chris Carson. Look at how big he is. He breaks tackles. He gets first downs, touchdowns. Boom. Russell Wilson. I mean, that's all I needed to say. Russell Wilson. Don't even get me started with Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. I mean, come on. And Jamal Adams. Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's so good, he could play on the field right now. Like, I don't know. It's so funny. It really is. I mean, I know, like, I'm not trying to be that way, but I mean, I just know it's going to happen. Like, I know it's going to happen. 49ers barely beat the Eagles today, and people will be like, man, Jimmy Garoppolo, the way he hung in there, and he took all that time and delivered a strike. He's throwing to Jawan Johnson, and you want to tell me Matthew Stafford should win the MVP for throwing to Cooper Kupp? Jimmy Garoppolo should win MVP. That's the type of stupid crap I'll probably be hearing this week, and you guys will probably be hearing this week. Hopefully somebody quotes that or something. Oh, Lord. I hope no one said that. Whew. Gave me the chills. Oh, my God. Oh yeah, Mark. The Rams are making the playoffs. They're gonna win the Super Bowl. As long as they stay healthy enough to do it, they're gonna win the Super Bowl. I don't really have much of a doubt. As long as they stay healthy, they will win the Super Bowl. I don't have a doubt about that. Probably not. Knowing Colin, he'll probably drop them. And I know because the Steelers lost, he'll be like, I told you, Pittsburgh. Let me just tell you. The Pittsburgh Steelers are not very good. You know why? Because Ben Roethlisberger just isn't... He's not Tom Brady. Like, he's gotten older, and Tom Brady has gotten younger. So that's why he's not good. And Najee Harris, yeah, it's great to get a first-round pick, but look at the offensive line. I mean, they're horrible. And you know, I'm not going to talk about any of the injuries, the fact that Devin Bush was out, the fact that Joe Hayden was out, and the fact that TJ Watt left the game early on in the game. I'm not going to talk about any of that because it doesn't matter because Pittsburgh lost the game, and I told you it would happen. That's what he does. Oh, man. It's really funny, honestly. I should just make a bunch of these and throw them up on TikTok, and I'm sure I would get a lot of views. I don't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't. I don't really care. Tampa Bay scored again. Another touchdown to Evans. Jeez. Brady's got 4 touchdowns. All right, easy there, P-Train. Easy there. Raheem Morris is fine, man. It's 2 games. They're 2-0. And furthermore, the Rams have given up 24 and 14 points in those games. That's not bad. That's really not bad at all. It's a tough game. They won. Let's look at the past, right? Let's see here. So, okay, so what is that? So 24, that's 38, right? 38 points. So Raheem Morris's defense gave up 38 points in their first 2 games, right? Okay. Wait a minute. That can't be right. Because, hold on a second. If you're doing the math, now it's not entirely the same, but Brandon Staley's defense gave up 17 the first week and 19 the second week. Okay. And then Wade Phillips gave up 27 points in week 1 in 2019 and then 9 in week 2. So that's interesting. That's the same point total that Raheem Morris gave up. His defense. And actually, his defense didn't give up that. Do you know why? Because his defense is not the special teams unit, and his defense only gave up... Let me hold on here. That's right, 17 points. So, if you're doing the math, actually, Raheem Morris has given up 31 total points for his defense. Last year, in the first 2 games... Brandon Staley's defense had given up 38. Or, sorry, not 38. 36. So, Brandon Staley's defense last year gave up more points than his defense. Okay. 2019. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But anyway. 2019. Wade Phillips' defense gives up 38. Okay, so right now Raheem Morris is leading the way with 31. Okay, let's look at 2018. Wade Phillips gives up... All right, this is a good performance here. Wade Phillips' defense gave up 13 the first 2 games. That's damn good. Even pitched a shutout in week 2. Okay, 2017, we had 29 points given up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, that's wrong. 36. So if we're doing that... Hold on a sec. 20... Okay, so that was 31... So, aside from 2018, and Wade Phillips tied the 2016 defense with 31 points given up in the first 2 weeks, if you're looking, Morris actually didn't have that bad of a first 2-game stretch. I mean, he really didn't. Let's see here. I mean, I think Morris gets a bad rep, if you ask me. Like, that's just my opinion. But look at, so 322 total yards for the Bears. And then the Colts, 344. Okay, so you can throw on them, you can run on them, they get yards, all that. That's great. You know, against Dallas last year, Rams held them to 380. So they had more yards than both the Bears and the Colts did with Brandon Staley's defense. Okay, let's look at the Eagles game. The Eagles game, they had more yards than the Colts and the Bears. So Raheem Morris has given up, his defense has given up fewer points than Staley did last year in the first 2 games, and has given up fewer yards than Staley did. Well, that is interesting. That's very interesting. Let's look at, let's see. Okay, let's look at the stats. Okay. By the way, it was more impressive because while Brandon Staley's defense gave up more yards, I'm not trying to hate on him, the team held the ball less. The Rams dominated time of possession last year. Their approach was to control the clock. This year, it's not. They're not trying to. So, less opportunities, and they're getting more yards on the Rams. That's saying something. Rams defense had 3 sacks against the Cowboys to start off the season last year with Brandon Staley. And what was it against Philly? Okay, Philly, it was... Oh, they didn't get a sack. And they did not get 1 sack on Wentz last year against Philly. So this year they play Wentz again in Indianapolis. We'll go to Chicago. How many sacks did they get? Did they get at least 3? Did they match Staley's defense? Did they match Staley's defense? And they got... Oh, they got 3 sacks. And then we look... Hold on a sec. The Rams played Carson Wentz this time around against Indianapolis. It's funny that they played Carson Wentz back-to-back seasons, week 2. And, oh, would you look at that? 3 sacks. So right now, the Rams have 6 sacks on the season. Last year, Staley, to this point, only had 3 sacks. So the Rams are leading in fewer yards given up, fewer points. They have more sacks. Let's see here. 1 second. I want to see interceptions, see if we're... okay, so they have 2 in this game. So the Rams had 2 in Indy. And then they had 2... Or, sorry, they had 2 in Indy. What did they get against the Bears? They had I know they had an interception in that one. They had 2? 1? Okay, so 3 interceptions. Yeah, 3 interceptions in the first 2 games. And then, let's see here. In Staley's defense, let's see what he did against the Cowboys. He did not get an interception against Dak. Dak is the only one in an opener against the Rams to not throw a pick. And then the Eagles, they had 2. So, I mean, I'm not trying to dog Staley, but here's the thing. Raheem Morris, it's like, I forget, someone said in the comments, I like Raheem, but that Tampa was a window licker. I don't agree with that. He won 10 games his first year with all brand new starters. He's the only one to do that since, like, the beginning of the merger. Anyway, okay. Someone said, yes, Nick said it. I think we just hold him to a higher standard because of how good Staley was in mid towards end of last season. Yes, and we forget the grind Staley went through to make his team the way it was. And by the way, let me just remind you guys that as great as Staley's defense was last year, the start of the season wasn't as hot as people remember. See, they gave up more points last year than this team. They gave up 35 and a loss to Buffalo. Then they came back and they beat the Giants. Then they came back, they beat Washington. So they had that game, but Tampa Bay was 27-24. They lost to the 49ers 23-20. They gave up 28 points to the Arizona Cardinals. They gave up 23 points to the Jets and lost. That's the thing. It took time for them to get there. So what I'm telling you right now is that hold on a sec, give him a shot. Raheem Morris is not that bad. You're falling for some recency bias. I understand, this guy had the number one defense, but it took a process to get there. Yes, they're more comfortable with this scheme, but there's still some new guys being added. It's a new defense. Keep that in mind. They're using Jalen Ramsey more differently than they ever have before. It's just different. So let me just tell you this right now. It looks bad at times. They do look like they give up more yards than they did last year. But in reality, they don't. The reason they look like they do is because the way they give up the yards. They gave them up in chunk plays last year, and this year they don't. They really, for the most part, they had some chunks today. But for the most part, it's really just letting them, it's the bend, don't break. And so it keeps the, defense on the field, which I don't love, to be honest with you. But I would say this. And I'm not worried about today. I was not worried about today's game, Nick. So in conclusion, Raheem Morris's defense through 2 games. Again, small sample size, but through 2 games, Raheem Morris's defense has given up fewer yards than Brandon Staley's, has given up fewer points, has generated more sacks, more interceptions, and is the same record at 2-0. Guys, let's take it easy. Let's enjoy the win. It's been fun talking with you, but let's get off Staley's back. Or not Staley. Let's get off Raheem Morris's back. Let's let him do his job. Let's let him prove it. Right now, I think he's done a good job. We'll see. We'll see more. But, yeah, numbers don't lie. We've seen it. Run defense did step up today. They held one of the best running backs in football to 3.5 yards per carry. And last week, they really didn't do a bad job against David Montgomery, like I said before the game, because aside from that 41-yard run, he didn't really do much. Yes, so bend, don't break, and I'll wrap it up here. But bend, don't break, essentially, Christian, is when your whole goal is to settle for field goals. Like, you're trying, obviously you'll take them punting the ball, but you're not afraid to give up a lot of yards and just be, backed against that end zone. It honestly, it like helps you out, it like you use it to your advantage, so to speak. So you play more loose, you play like open, like, okay, like, yeah, you can eat those yards, but we're just not going to let you get in the end zone. And you do that when you have a high-octane passing attack like the Rams do, because if you just hold them to field goals the whole time, or they're going to go for it on 4th down, that you're playing into the hand of the bend, don't break. And we've seen that. So that's the whole point. The problem is you can't play like that all the time. And the Rams, they're... I just think, to me, the Rams need to be careful, because if they have a defense on the field long enough, then they can get picked apart. That defense can get tired. You don't want to grind your defense out in a 17-game schedule. You don't want to grind them out to the point where in the playoffs they are zonked and they can't play. So that's the biggest issue for me. That's the biggest weakness for them. But aside from that, first 2 games, you would have liked to see a bigger performance out of them tonight, but hey, they battled back. They won. Anytime you win a game on the road against a team that was in the playoffs last year, definitely impressive. And you played against a good quarterback. And so now you got one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, who doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. He's thrown back-to-back 4 touchdown games, I believe, I want to say. So, by the way, the Falcons, before I go, they are... They just got the ball around they forced a punt, and they just got the ball. They're now in the Tampa Bay side of the field, down 28-17 on the road. So Tampa Bay's going to come home. They're going to come to LA. They better win this game because the last game Cowboys were in it. Probably a good sign for the Rams. You can throw on this team. Tampa Bay is not fully healthy yet. You can throw on this team. Should be a lot of fun. I'll get you guys prepared. No worries about that. Going to do pregame, postgame, of course, as you know, for the Rams and Bucks game. You could probably expect that pregame to come out right around the 3:30 mark, maybe even a little earlier than that. We'll have some fun. We'll get you ready. And then the postgame, you can expect that right after the game. I'd say within 15 minutes after. So if you don't see it up, just know that within 15 minutes after, I'll get that up on the channel. But appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys supporting me, as always. Thank you so much to Darius Hines, and thank you so much to the Dark Saver. You guys donate as much as you did today. Really helped me out. Every little bit helps right now, as this is my full-time job at the moment, so trying to make it count. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys throughout the week. I'll be on multiple podcasts. I'll be posting those all over social media, letting you guys know. Plan to have some cool guests. Trying to get Steffi back on soon. Might go on her show as well. A friend of mine, and then recording the Downtown Rams podcast later tonight with Alexis. We'll get that out as soon as possible, and then I got my film room stuff. As soon as I get all 22, I'm going to do film room. Might even do live with you guys. We'll see. And then we'll have the can't even talk. The preview, which I'll break down after watching the film on the Bucks. Break down the Bucks in that matchup. And we'll be ready for the game again. So this is going to be a constant thing. Hope you guys enjoyed. I love all y'all. You be safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.